In the world of One Piece, power often comes at a price. Paramecia fruits let you reshape the environment, Zoan fruits turn you into animals, and Logia fruits make you an element. Within those categories, Oda established rules and weaknesses. Water robs you of strength, Haki pierces intangibility, and mythical transformations are ultra rare. But sometimes a fruit's potential power is so vast that it feels like a crack in the story itself. These fruits create universes within universes, erase whole civilizations from memory, leap forward in time, travel at light speed, and bargain with souls. By the way, for this discussion, I'm excluding mythical Zoan fruits. Those abilities are intentionally designed to be legendary and unpredictable, so their powers bending the rules of reality is part of the game. When Trafalgar Law uses the Ope Ope no Mi, he creates a blue spherical domain called Room. Within that sphere, he reigns supreme. As Smoker described it, everyone inside becomes a helpless patient on his operating table, and Law is the surgeon. Inside the room, he can swap the positions of two targets, levitate objects of any size, slice people into pieces without killing them, remove and reattach organs, teleport himself using anything as an anchor, even droplets of rain, and transplant personalities. This ability goes far beyond simple slicing. Law can peel a beating heart from an enemy's body, store it in a cube, and control the person by squeezing that cube. He can switch the spirits of his friends and foes. He can create electric shocks that act like defibrillators or conjure energy blades that destroy organs. But most astonishingly, the fruit is revered as the ultimate devil fruit because it can grant eternal youth to another person through the perennial youth operation at the cost of the user's life. The Marines once offered 5 billion berry to buy it from Diaz barrels. On the medical side, the fruit can cure any illness when wielded by a skilled surgeon. The Ope Ope no Mi allowed Law to cure his own amber-lead syndrome and later healed giant children poisoned on Punk Hazard. It can even alter people's biology permanently. Victims separated by this ability still feel their missing parts and may remain vulnerable if only one severed part touches seawater. Once a room's effects are set, they can persist, even if Law is restrained. The Ope Ope no Mi is an author's dream. Need someone teleported across a battlefield? Law flicks his sword. Want to bypass a character's death? Swap their personality into another body, or pluck out their heart so it can be squeezed instead of pierced. Want immortality? There's a surgery for that, but this miracle machine cracks the logic of the story wide open. To Oda's credit, the Ope Ope no Mi does have weaknesses. Law must maintain his room within a stationary sphere. Moving outside the sphere nullifies his power. Each technique consumes stamina. Overuse can drain his life force. Small spheres are visible to enemies, and he needs to set up destination objects for teleportation. Doflamingo restrained his arm to prevent an attack. Yet these limitations are largely narrative devices. With planning and allies, Law could circumvent them. The result is a fruit that can rewrite causality, but is rarely allowed to. I've seen some fans call it the plot fruit for good reason. The story would be unrecognisable if Law used his full potential every day, so Oda must create reasons for him to be too exhausted, distracted, or uninterested. That tension between the fruit's limitless power and its limited use makes the Ope Ope no Mi our first plot hole generator. Before we get into the next fruit, if you enjoy deep One Piece analysis like this, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel and you won't miss future breakdowns. At first glance, Sugar's Hobi Hobi no Mi looks whimsical. The fruit resembles a yo-yo. Touch someone and they become a toy. But this power goes far beyond making plushies. When Sugar touches a living being, she can transform them into a toy. Immediately, she may force a contract that compels the victim to obey any order. The transformation strips away physical strength and devil fruit abilities. Giants shrink to miniatures. All weapons vanish. Those turned into toys keep their memories and fighting skills, but their existence is erased from everyone else's memory. Even spectators who watch the transformation forget the person moments later. Only physical evidence, like a statue or inscription, remains. The fruit also halts the user's aging. Sugar remains in a child's body decades after joining the Don Quixote pirates. The victim's aging also stops, meaning they could remain toys indefinitely. Why is this so reality-breaking? Imagine if you could erase kings, admirals, or entire villages from history with a touch. The Hobi Hobi no Mi effectively allows the user to reshape society without anyone knowing. Sugar could technically remove all the Marine admirals. She could touch the scholars of Ohara to permanently erase their knowledge of the Void Century. She could make the Gorosei vanish and no one would remember they existed. Instead, Sugar remains hidden in Dressrosa's palace, turning rebels and gladiators into dolls. Oda constrains her by giving her weaknesses. She must touch the target with her hand for the transformation to occur, and she must set the contract immediately. Otherwise, the toy retains free will. If she is knocked unconscious or killed, all transformations instantly revert. Toys can exploit loopholes in contracts or escape before the contract is formed. Brave opponents immune to fear can refuse to follow orders, and the contract can only be created once per toy. Still, these limitations don't negate the fundamental horror, the erasure of memory. The Hobi Hobi no Mi is whimsical on the surface, but carries existential dread beneath. It transforms free will into slavery and memory into myth. The fact that this ability exists yet only affects one island is one of One Piece's largest logical stretches, in my opinion. Time travel is notoriously hard to handle in fiction, and One Piece is no exception. The Toki Toki no Mi belongs to Kazuki Toki, a woman from 8 centuries ago. By using this fruit, the user can send themselves or others into the future, vanishing from the present and reappearing at the selected time. Unlike other time travel stories, this ability is strictly one way. You can never travel back. The user controls how far ahead to jump. The only known maximum is 20 years. The traveller reappears in the same location they left, so they must be careful not to dematerialize inside solid matter or over the ocean. The power persists even after the user dies. Toki used this fruit repeatedly to escape threats, leaping ahead when cornered. She eventually settled in Wano, married Kazuki Oden, and used her final jump to send her son Momonosuke and the Red Scabbards 20 years into the future. According to her Vivre card, she ate the fruit around 830 years ago, making her the longest known holder of a single devil fruit. As I mentioned earlier, the fruit cannot bring people to the past. There is no Groundhog Day reset. It also doesn't grant combat abilities. The user still suffers from standard devil fruit weaknesses, such as drowning. These constraints are meant to prevent paradoxes. Still, the Toki Toki no Mi's very existence allows characters to leap over decades of conflict, effectively sidestepping narrative consequences. Toki's death means the fruit is back in circulation, and I wonder who will find it during their final saga. The Pika no Mi is a Logia fruit that lets its user create, control, and become light. Admiral Kizaru can fire laser beams from his hands, fingers, feet, or eyes. He can blind opponents with flashes, form swords and constructs made of hard light, scatter himself into particles to regenerate or multiply, and move at the speed of light, reflecting off surfaces to reach any location. As a Logia, he can let attacks pass through him by becoming intangible. The fruit's user appears so fast that even observation users struggle to see him. Kizaru collected food for Luffy so quickly that no one present, including Haki users, noticed. He can float momentarily by decreasing his mass, then accelerate to deliver kicks with devastating momentum. Technology replicates his lasers. Dr. Vegapunk incorporated Pika Pika beams into Pacifista and Seraphim units. Technically, a man made of light could cross the globe in moments. Kizaru could travel to Onigashima, rescue marine fleets, or deliver intelligence across oceans instantly. Yet in canon, he seldom uses his speed outside fights. He engages in protracted battles, allowing Rayleigh to intercept him because he requires a moment to accelerate. This delay is one of the few weaknesses Oda gives him. Additionally, his lasers travel in straight lines and can be dissipated or blocked by strong defenses. Sanji once kicked apart a laser, implying that some moves aren't instant. The fruit also shares the standard Logia vulnerability to Haki. If a person imbues their weapon with armament Haki, they can hit Kizaru, despite his intangibility. However, the story rarely shows Haki users landing multiple hits on him. Instead, Oda uses comedic restraint. Kizaru often seems lazy, uninterested, or bound by orders. From a narrative perspective, the Pika Pika no Mi threatens to break geography. If an admiral can traverse oceans in seconds, why rely on snail calls or warships? Why fear storms or distances? Why not use Kizaru as the ultimate courier or assassin? The existence of this fruit raises questions about the practicality of the Grand Line's logistical challenges. No devil fruit encapsulates plot hole generator better than Charlotte Linlin's Soru Soru no Mi. This paramecia fruit gives its user control over souls. Big Mom can manifest and draw out the souls of people who feel fear towards her. The soul appears as a pink, tangible substance that leaks like smoke. She can then extract part of a victim's lifespan, minutes, years, or their entire remaining life. She may kill instantly by pulling out the full soul. Once extracted, soul fragments can be infused into objects or animals, turning them into homies, sentient beings with human-like intelligence. Big Mom can animate almost anything: plants, fire, water, even light. The strength of a homie depends on the strength of the soul used. Homies can even eat other homies to absorb their souls and grow stronger. She can infuse her own soul fragments to create special homies like Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon. She can even sacrifice her own lifespan to temporarily boost her size and power. The fruit has conditions. To extract a soul, the target must fear the user. Fearless opponents like Jinbei, Law, or Kid are immune. The user must be near enough to physically grab the soul, and they need to speak an incantation that the victim can hear. Souls cannot be infused into living people or corpses, though the user can return stolen life to revive someone. Despite these limitations, the ability to extract and return life itself challenges the stakes of every battle. If Big Mom used it logically, the world of One Piece would be unrecognizable. Ultimately, I think these fruits are not oversights, but storytelling tools. Oda designs incredible powers, then deliberately restrains them to preserve tension and world building. The result is a universe where surgeons can swap hearts, yet can't be everywhere at once. Where a little girl could erase a fleet, but her cowardly heart keeps her hidden. Where a time traveler chooses when to leap. Where Light decides to take the scenic route. And where an emperor's hunger for sweets eclipses her hunger for immortality. So, which devil fruit do you think introduces the biggest plot hole? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching.